All right, I'm Prather, Dime.co. Thanks for that introduction, Dan. So I was born into a family. I was born to a teenage mom, raised by my grandparents, right? Really good people, really hardworking people. The problem was that they were defeated and afraid by money, right? They always were employed, but they could just never get ahead. They had a mentality that they could never shake, that financial success, financial empowerment was not for them, right? So that was in my family, and that was also the whole world that I was exposed to at that time, right? I used to think it was part of my socioeconomic group, but it's not. 76% of Americans are paycheck to paycheck, right? There's a lot of people maybe in this audience. You're usually into two groups. You know someone like this, or you are someone like this, right? This is not a one-off type thing, right? Let's talk about millennials for a second, right? So they're spending $1.02 for every dollar that they earn, okay? So you can see that that does not pan out well. There's a lot of bad individual stories in there. 3 in 10 millennials don't even have a savings account. 3 in 10 millennials don't even have a mechanism for which to save. Viacom did an interview of 10,000 millennials. Banking is by far at the greatest risk for disruption than any other industry. The millennials have lost faith in the banks. They feel that they don't speak their language, they're not looking out for them. And banking institutions are feeling the same thing. They don't feel that they know how to get this traction from these users. They don't know how to engage them, right? So let's talk more about these millennials. So a lot of people have experience with this age group, 18 to 35, and there's kind of a disconnect a lot of the time. So in the past, consumers are used to, let's say, let's pick from a few different options off the shelf. Okay, I'll go with option B. Millennials are more about, what can you do for me? I'm individual. I have different kind of desires than my parents do. Speak my language. How can you help me? And that's how you get their trust, okay? A lot of us have Apple computers, iPhones. Why is that? Design, right? It's a great tool to use. It's fun to use. It's sleek. So design is a huge thing for these millennials. And social responsibility. So that's built into the product here, improving people's finances. Now let's talk about text messaging, okay? I'm sure a few of you are texting at this very moment, if not in the last 5 minutes. Why is texting still a thing? It should have been gone 10 years ago, right? It's a thing because it's simple, it's repeatable, everyone has it. That's where your friends are, that's where your family are. So that's what Dime does, is we reach these millennials and we create purposeful new savers. We meet them in the sweet spot of their life, their text messaging on their cell phones, okay? How do we do it? So first, we meet these people. They have a short-term mindset when it comes to their financing. These are people that, sure, I want to save. Sure, I've never been able to save. I have no idea how to save. I give up. I feel guilty about it. So we take this short-term mindset and we dangle a little carrot. We say, would you like to save for an iPad or a wedding ring or tools to start a new business or to pay down some damn credit card debt because you spent too much already, right? So they simply set a goal. They link an account, works with any bank account. And a few times a week, we text them, a couple times. Hey, you can see some examples here. Keep it going. Text yes to move $25 to savings now. The user just texts back yes, and that money is queued for an ACH transfer to a separate account, okay? And so what happens is we show them these results. Over a few weeks, over a few months, these users have gone from financially disempowered to, I've saved $450 in 2 months. How did that happen, right? So that is a savings plan. We nudge them into starting a savings plan. It's really simply that easy. So let's talk more about goals, okay? So these goals, they start by tapping into that short-term mentality. But over time, we can change the conversation. It's the first step. It's the conversation starter. So after a few months, we can say, $500. What if you took half of that, put it into a long-term savings account, and use the other half toward the iPad, right? So that is the first step along this customer journey. Now I'm going to read the slide a little bit to talk to you more about this customer journey. They start off defeated, afraid, unsuccessful. They start to see some initial savings, some tangible results come over time, and then when we show them these results, they can say, hey, I guess that is a savings habit. I guess it really is that easy, which encourages more consistent choices, and they become financially empowered. So there are some existing solutions. Keep the Change, Roundup. Acorns is very similar to those, but an online thing. Digit is another newer concept. It's automated savings. These are all automated savings programs. They're not really the Fitbit, if you will, for your finances, the way we've designed Dime to be. So they do help with initial savings and tangible results, but they don't affect habit, okay? So we did a small but successful alpha test. Our users went from saving 0 to 40 to 95 bucks a week. 3/4 of our users were responding to these texts in a positive way, an average of 1.5 times a week, saying yes or save 20 or save 10. And you can see the bottom quote, and that just speaks, to the power that this has brought to our users so far. And it's, savings used to be this thing in the back. I know I should do it. I don't know how to do it. I can't do it. It's a source of guilt for me. And so now it's right in the palm of their hands, literally. So how do we go to market? How do we reach these people? So Mint.com in 2007 laid out a really excellent go-to-market strategy. It's about a 10-year-old concept at this point, so it needs a refresh. It needs to be brought to 2015. But it's basically quite simple. We enter the financial discussion, right, through blog and content partnerships. We join the social conversation when people are talking about, I want this, I want that. That's an easy place for us to insert our message. Well, here's a way to get it. Here's a way to do it in a responsible kind of way. Targeted SEO, SEM, and retail and brand partnerships. So the retail and brand partnerships, last week I had a gigantic retailer reach out and express a lot of interest in what we're building. And at first, it took me a minute to really draw that line. I mean, I understood on some level, but they're looking to meet these users that they're also having trouble engaging, right? Help them fund these large purchases. And then it's a pipeline, right? They are trying to understand who these users are, where they are in their lives, what kind of things they're trying to achieve over time. So it's predictive of sales, right? It's ahead of a sale. It's a vetted, known, want-to-be customer, and it helps these users. It helps get them to their side. So there's that whole other aspect to it as well. So how do we make money, right? We're holding funds, so there's a way to participate on the interest on these held funds. Lead generation, just like Mint.com made millions doing. Entering the discussion, okay, here's a lower interest credit card. Here is mortgage, here's an access to a mortgage broker. Those all come with the possibility for commissions, checking accounts, peer-to-peer lending. There's a lot of different things that help our users to improve their finances. And then retailing commissions, right? Retailer commissions. So when you buy that iPad, Amazon pays a 4% commission. When you buy that wedding ring, it's a 5 to 8% commission very often, okay? And like we said, ads and data. These retailers, they want to know these customers in a different sort of way, okay? Customer lifetime value, we're estimating 132 bucks. Cost of acquisition, $3 to $7. Mint.com was able to pull that quite a bit lower. So there's a real opportunity just through social channels for us to really lower that. San Francisco-based team, I want to highlight two people. Peter Bonnet, our CTO, his team that he led built the original on-deck capital platform. It's still being used today after a $2 billion IPO, okay? And Elliot McEntee is our banking advisor. He was the CEO of the ACH Foundation of NACHA for 20 years, 45-year payment expert who's helping us through this myriad of mazes in terms of account setup and what we can do and what we can't and how to do it best, okay? So where are we? Today is demo day, QC FinTech. I have to take a second and thank Dan, Rachel, Adam, all the companies because we have such camaraderie and we've helped each other out so much. The mentors, the consultants, and especially the financial services industry in Charlotte. For me, it was a really easy decision to come to Charlotte. Where else are you going to get access to this kind of financial services expertise, right? I mean, where else? You're not going to get it in New York or San Francisco. You're not going to find that many open doors. So I have to, yes, thanks for a great time in Charlotte. Our alpha is complete. We talked about that earlier. And today marks the first day we're signing up 150 users. If you go to dime.co, there's a link to sign up. If you're part of one of the 12 biggest banks, you can log into your account just like you would. It sets us up, and our process starts on June 1st. So we're rolling our beta out over the next couple weeks, and our iOS app enters the approval process at Apple in a week. So let's talk about our raise. At first, we were raising $500,000. We were very fortunate to receive a term sheet for $500,000 from a really known strategic investor. We could not be more thrilled. That's been a huge thing for us. We're adding on to that for our seed round. We're raising $1 million as part of a larger seed A. But we're really excited about this stage in the FinTech market, right? So a lot of companies are unbundling the banks, so we need rocket fuel to compete in this market. It's a fast-growing market, and we can't rest on our heels. We have to be able to drive this growth and aggressively. So that $1 million, what's it's going to get us? It's going to get our iOS. It's going to get our Android. We're going to develop this whole catalog of aspirational desires. If you think about a Sears wish book for 2015, what are some cool things that we can entice our users, and they can create their own? How can we entice these people to become under the Dime umbrella where we can help them save, right? And then also, we're fueling user growth to 22,000 users in year 1. That's Dime. I'm Joseph Prather. Thank you.